One.
Hey everyone, part two. We've got one matchup left. A little technical difficulty there. Not surprising after our first shot at this. I'm hoping week to week we'll get a little bit better. But anyway, we'll get right back into this last matchup. It's one pretty close to your heart there, former champ. It's going to be Joel at Doug. This one's really interesting to me. Joel had quite a few injuries in the preseason. Very scary for Joel. It was really fun to send all the injury reports. That was my entire last 3 weeks, essentially. I was just every injury report to Joel's player, just texted him right away as soon as I saw it. But that being said, he's bringing an injury-free team except PG-13 to the matchup this week. How's it going, Joel? What are we thinking with your team this year?
Well, we think we're going to be healthy. Eric Bledsoe remains questionable for the opener, but I'm choosing to be optimistic. That said, if this team is healthy, I really like everyone on here. Anyone with Colin in the name, I'm calling you over here. We're going to go get us a chip. We got Colin Sexton. We got Zach Collins. And on top of that, we kept John Collins. But Paul George is really going to tie this whole thing together when he comes back. The most recent news on him is not great.
Yeah.
He's supposed to at least 10 games.
Yep, I saw that. That's about an eighth of the season. I mean, it's tough. 12.5% if you're wondering for fractions. I hate to admit it, but I like your team a lot. I think you had another good draft again this year.
Fuck yeah, I did.
I absolutely loved the Zach Collins ad. The fact that he was on. I think I even mentioned him to like every player in the league of how much I love Zach Collins. And he just sat out there, killed the preseason, and nobody is challenging that man for minutes. Like, his floor is top 100, and he was sitting out there on the wire just waiting for him to be scooped.
Yep. Once Patrick Beverly tweaked his hammy,
Boom.
Pick that man up for $1, and he's just going to be kicking ass all the way home.
I know. I couldn't figure out who I'd drop for him. I almost went on right. I know we mentioned him earlier as a question mark. I almost pulled the trigger. I almost did, but I'm just worried about those assists. And now that you've dropped Beverly, I'm more comfortable with keeping Delon. It'll make me even more comfortable in that assist area. Anyway, the other team is Doug. Doug, his keepers were taking up a large portion of his draft. That clearly handcuffed him. But I will say, Doug clearly knows how to draft a fantasy basketball team. He only has one center-eligible player. I don't know how that's going to work out for him if he needs to. Not well, and that's what I'm most worried about is that versatility. He clearly went guard heavy. He's just going to try to murder you in guard stats. It's a great idea given his keepers. I'm just not sure, especially on these full days that we have, like the Wednesdays and the Saturdays, when you need that center spot, because if Ibaka is not playing on one of those days, you're going to sit somebody that's playing. You know what I mean?
Forwards.
2 power forwards, even worse.
So, say that there's a day where he needs a center and a power forward, and Serge Ibaka is one of those guys, and who's his other power forward? And Warren is not playing. Mm-hmm. That power forward spot is just going to sit there open.
Yeah.
Dwayne's on the bench or on the IR right now. I think that Michael Porter Jr. is a pretty big gamble. I think it might later in the season it might work out for him, but I think early on it's going to be a struggle. Derek White, I don't know what to make of that guy right now. And Bogdanovich are all kind of question marks to me. Jrue Holiday could be in for a huge season if Zion sits, though.
Yeah.
Like, just to focus.
Just insane. If Zion's out, like Favors gets a bump, Ball gets a bump, Holiday gets a bump, Ingram gets a bump. Everybody's kind of flying low on Ingram this year. He could be an interesting upside play. That all being said, man, I'm gonna take Doug here, and I'm gonna take him here hesitantly. My two things here are, number one, you have one of your top two players on your IR. So just for my own sanity, I don't want you to be able to beat somebody that I consider in the top five in teams with the IR occupied by PG-13. Number two, I think on a short week, Doug's guard-heavy team is going to be able to put up enough of those guard stats that will just beat your more balanced team. Those are my 2 points. And if he feels like cycling on you, he just will. And in my opinion, there's nobody you're going to be cycling with. So I guess that's 3 points. That being said, I called it like 10 days ago. I said Doug week 1. So I'm sticking with it and picking Doug.
I have to have faith in my team. I think that Doug is going to have some growing pains and have to drop some guys. But that may mean that he gets more plays. Ultimately, I think my guys are just better rounded, though. But it's week 1.
Crazier things have happened. I believe Doug has beaten you in a week 1 before. That's all I'm saying.
That said, I'm still taking myself, and I will be anxiously awaiting Paul George to come back.
Yeah, I agree. All right, that being said, I will post all the list every day that there's an ad. If there's not an ad, I likely won't post the list. Not too much as far as trades so far. Interesting. Week 1, glad to be back. Gotta wait till Tuesday. Seems like a long 48 hours in my opinion.
Agreed.
But we'll see how it goes. Anything else from you, former champ?
Good luck to everyone. I'm really looking forward to opening every note this year with, and the reigning champ loses again.
Yeah, Matt's in store for a few losses, I think, this year, and it is going to be great to do videos that way. That being said, it's been a long time. Mr. Modest is back in the playoff picture. He's to be taken seriously this year. People's Champ 2020. I've put a lot into it. I have no choice but to win this year, so here I come. Good luck to everyone this week. Joel, we'll see ya.
All right, brother.
Later.
See ya.